Hey guys, this is MKII556. In our first video comparing the Ruger American Rimfire and the Savage FVSR, we looked at the differences in the features of these two excellent bolt-action 22 long rifles. Today we want to look at the function of these two guns. We're going to compare the trigger, muzzle velocity, the accuracy, and how well these two guns suppress. For our accuracy test, we're going to use federal target grade ammunition. We'll use the same ammunition. We've got 10 rounds loaded in the Savage magazine and 10 rounds loaded in the Ruger magazine. What we'll do is we'll rest the gun and we will do 2 5-shot groups at a 25-yard target. And then we'll review the results. We've sat down with both of these guns. We cleaned the bores out with the bore snake. Then we sat down and zeroed the scopes. We have identical scopes. They're relatively inexpensive. Simmons, adjustable objective. They're both adjusted for 25 yards and they're both set at 4 power. We'll shoot the Savage 2 5-round groups at 25 yards. Okay, we're clear. Now we'll shoot at the lower targets, 2 5-round groups with the Ruger. Fire. So here are the results. This is with federal target grade ammunition. This is the Savage and then the Ruger. The Savage first 5-round group, 4 of the rounds are within a penny, and then we had 1 flyer. The second group with the Savage, essentially all 5 groups are pretty close to being within a penny. With the Ruger, we had all 5 shots touching a penny, a little bit more spread. With the second group, we had 4 shots kind of touching a penny, and then the 1 flyer here with federal target grade. What we'll do now is we'll use a different ammunition and we'll do the same test and see how the groups vary. For our second round in the accuracy test, we're going to use Dino ammunition. Once again, we'll do 2 5-shot groups. We'll use the Savage first. One 5-shot group. Very nice. One more. Okay. All right, that's clear. Now the Ruger American with Winchester Dynapoint ammo at 25 yards. Shot group. Okay, we're clear. 2 5-shot groups with both rifles using Winchester Dynapoint. The Savage is on the top and the Ruger American Rimfire is on the bottom with the Savage. First group, there's a penny, a little bit further spread out, still a tight group compared to our ammunition that we used the first time. And here we've got a very tight group, all very close to being within the size of a penny. And first group using the Ruger compared to the Savage. Shot a little high. On both of these groups they shot high and a little bit larger than a penny. Second group was actually smaller, still high, but about the size of a penny, all 5 shots. So that's with the Ruger, that's with the Savage. Very tight groups. And there's all 4 5-shot groups. The last couple of things we wanted to talk about with our comparison between these two rifles is the muzzle velocity. This is a 16.5-inch barrel versus the Ruger's 18-inch barrel, and then look at them as suppressor host. Now, how well they do as a suppressor host is going to be directly related to the muzzle velocity of the projectile coming out of this muzzle. The suppressor is going to take care of the muzzle blast very efficiently. Most modern 22 long rifle suppressors are very efficient at taking care of the muzzle blast. But what they can't address is the sonic crack if the bullet is traveling faster than the speed of sound. So now we're going to sit down and compare these two rifles looking at muzzle velocities with a variety of ammunition. What I'd like to start with is the Winchester Dynapoint ammunition. If you saw my earlier review looking at the Savage as a suppressor host, you know that I found the Dynapoint ammunition was very, very quiet coming out of this gun. So we'll start with the Dynapoint. We'll confirm the velocity coming out of the Savage rifle, make sure that it is in fact subsonic, which it should be, and then we'll see what kind of velocity change we see when we put it in the Ruger 18-inch barrel. What we're looking at is speeds above and below about 1,140 feet per second. 1059. 1059. 1024. 1055. And 1074. So all of those rounds stayed under 1140 feet per second. They would all be subsonic. Now, the same ammunition with the Ruger, 18-inch barrel. .1065. .1030. .1032. .1046. .994. Gun's clear. Both of these rifles keep that ammunition subsonic. Let's try some different rounds now. We'll go back to our Federal target. We have Federal target. We'll go ahead and start with the Ruger first, see what kind of velocities we get. .1160. .1149. .1087. .1197. And the gun is cleared. So we can see from the numbers that some of those rounds were subsonic and some were going just above the speed of sound, which would make that sonic crack. And those rounds, the Federal target load, would be quiet on some rounds, and then some of the rounds would come out with a sonic crack. Now let's try the shorter barrel and the Savage and see what kind of muzzle velocities we get. .1212. .1188. .1167. .1170. .1135. Now surprisingly, even though this is a shorter barrel, all but one of the rounds came out supersonic in the 16-inch Savage barrel. For comparison's sake, let's go ahead and use another round. We'll use the Winchester 333. This is a 36 grain hollow point, high velocity round. Five rounds of Winchester 333. The Savage is up, so we'll go ahead and use the Savage first and check the velocities. Savage 16.5-inch barrel. The 1190. .1200. .1246. And an error. The gun is clear. So these rounds are all coming out supersonic, which is not a surprise. Now let's just compare the velocities with what we see in the Ruger barrel. .1204, .1187, .1182, .1180, .1189. So all of these rounds are supersonic coming out of the Ruger barrel. You can see the differences in velocity. So I think we're going to find that as far as being a suppressor host, that both of these rifles are going to have about the same performance. Now we'll put a suppressor on these rifles and just do a few shots and see how they sound. Now we have our Gemtech Outback 2 suppressor on the Ruger 18-inch barrel. What we've done is we'll have 5 rounds of the Dino point, followed by 5 rounds of the Federal target, and so you can compare how these two go. Considerably louder. You can hear when we hit those Federal targets. Okay, now we'll put our suppressor on the Savage. Okay, now we're going to go, that was 4 rounds, I only had 4 rounds, so now we're going to the Federal target. We have the sonic crack. And the gun is safe. What we're seeing is that both rifles are similar in their ability to suppress. 22 long rifle, we're not seeing a major difference in velocity. They were both really quiet with the Dino point. I think to the ears, the 16-inch barrel was slightly quieter than the Ruger barrel, but they both suppressed very well with ammunition that stays subsonic. Now another thing to consider is a change in the point of impact when you put a suppressor on, and that really is related to the suppressor itself rather than the firearm. But you are going to see sometimes a significant change in the point of impact. So we'll look at that and then we'll wrap it up. Okay, now we're going to look at point of impact change with the suppressor. We're using the Winchester Dino point ammo. We'll do 5 rounds without the suppressor, and then we'll do 5 rounds with the suppressor on, and then we'll look close at the target and see what kind of shift we get in the point of impact. Okay, we'll put the gun on safe. Well, we have an empty chamber with a spent case, so I'll just leave that and very carefully screw on the suppressor. Okay, and we'll do 5 rounds and see how our impact changes. It's in the same spot. Well, wow. Okay, I'm gonna go get the target. Basically, they all hit in the same spot. We'll show that. Okay, so here's the target. We were shooting at 25 yards. We used the Winchester Dino point, the Outback 2 suppressor on the new Ruger American Rimfire with an 18-inch barrel. And I can tell you I was able to see these shots as I was taking them. There's a nickel. Okay. And as I was taking these shots, when I put the suppressor on, basically the shots actually looked like they were making a tighter group. These central shots, these outside shots were without the suppressor. So basically the point of aim did not change at all. If anything, what happened is the group just got a little bit tighter when I put the suppressor on. I was really expecting a shift. I was expecting either to be to the right or left or maybe down or up and have 2 little 5-round groups. But in fact, we had one 10-round group. So I'm very pleased with this particular combination. There again, you'd have to confirm with what suppressor you're using. It's more reliant on the suppressor than anything else. But obviously this gun is going to make an excellent suppressor host. And we did not have a significant change in the point of impact. And in fact, it appeared to have a little bit tighter group with the suppressor on and was extremely quiet with the Winchester Dino point out of the 18-inch barrel. Well, we've tried to give you a hopefully useful and objective comparison between these two rifles. We've looked at features, design, and function. I hope you found the information useful. If you did, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you have any questions about this review, please post those on the video site, and I'll try to respond to those in a timely fashion. Thanks for watching. We're going to wrap it up now. We can't complete this evaluation without looking at the high-capacity 25-round Ruger 1022 magazines. I have the suppressor on. We'll let this part of the evaluation speak for itself. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. you.